Hi, I'm Evelyn Carr, and I'm back with Sister Talks. Now, I know I've been gone for a while, but I've been gone and I've been really busy with fibromyalgia awareness. We've got a children's prevention program going. We've got a women's prevention program going. People are healing here. I've been coaching with retreats and conventions. We have one coming up in November, where also my sister is coming from America, and she's going to be here, and we're going to testimony into about healing from fibromyalgia. Now, to get right back to it, since I've been gone for so long on this segment here, I'm going to go right straight into my program that I created in 2011 that permitted me to heal totally and completely from fibro. Now, I'd like for everyone to remember that I created a program in 2011. I healed in 2011. I am a life coach. I am a motivational coach. So I just took complete control over my emotions, my brain, my reactions, and I was able to implement this program. First of all, create it with incredible brain fog. The only thing that was on internet were conventions and medical conventions about my symptoms. And I had over 100 symptoms. So you can imagine with brain fog and not being able to understand anything and trying to study what was the cause of my symptoms. So that's what I did, and I created my my program, and I implemented it, and I healed in let's say it was I don't want to tell you how many months it was, because I don't want anyone to feel pressure, but I had a different set of instruments. Now, to get right back into it, these are instruments that I'm also going to redo them again and repass it again in my sister's brain, so she always remembers. These segments are really for my sister to keep always remembering how to stay out of fibro. I'm going to tell you also why people think it's cyclical. People think fibromyalgia is cyclical, and it's not cyclical. I have been out of fibromyalgia since 2011, completely without pain. I'm 55 years old, and I'm in complete health, and I do not experience pain. I do not experience symptoms at all during my day, but I do work, I coach with many people, so the pain is always right there every day in my face, their pain. Let's say I have a really good reason why I cannot ever forget and slip up and start doing things that I shouldn't be doing again, because I know I have the pain right there in front of me every day, with people telling me their intense pain, and I can remember mine, through theirs, and I never, and I will never slip up. Now let's go back to slip up. Okay, slip up means I will never go back to forgetting myself, my health, and the things that I need to do. Now, I don't want to talk about a wellness program for life. I would like to talk about wellness. It's what we have to do to get out of fibro, and after to stay completely out of fibro, are the same things that everyone should be doing for their health. I'll go into it, and there's just so much that needs to be said. So I can't say so much in one segment, because there's just so much to be said. But I'm going to go right back into my wellness program. And this is for you, Cheryl. Please keep remembering what you have to do. I know you know this, and we're going to go over it again for everybody. Okay? So my daily regime that I put my warriors on, at one point, when I was healing, I did a lot more than this. This is true. But let's just say it was kind of like an overkill. Okay, so I did a lot more than this, basically on the same lines of this, but of my program. But it's not necessary, and it would really overwhelm someone else. This is basically the minimum that you really need to do every day, and keep doing it to get out of fibromyalgia. Okay, so the program is managing stress, eliminating emotional blocks to restore psychological and emotional physical balance. Now, this is in one phrase, like a year and a half of coaching, which I'm going to keep doing these videos, and I'm going to explain a lot of situations, so don't worry. We'll get to that. But that's basically the psychological change, the emotional clearing out that we have to do. This is what's going to happen, okay? So we'll put that on the side for a minute, okay? Now, let's get back to the rest. Scrupulously follow the plan to eliminate dysbiosis and restore optimum bowel function, avoiding sugars, fermented foods, acids, nightshades, solanaceae, excess carbohydrates, and refined foods. I will go into this later, okay? So we need to walk up to 20 minutes a day, max every day, and to restore a lymphatic system, to produce endorphins, okay, to oxygenate the body and to help the circulatory system, to strengthen the back, the abdominal muscles, and to relax the mind. In one phrase, there's a lot in just walking, and I will go into that later also. Now, when I first started walking, I was completely hunched over. I had no physical strength in my body. So I used to walk as if you see some old people who walk down the street completely hunched over. And I would hold on to the walls, and I could only walk for 3 minutes a day. And 3 minutes for me a day seemed like it was, you know, I'd hike Mount Everest, but I did it, and I did it every single day. And I never, ever stopped walking. Deep breathing for 8 minutes a day while lying in bed before you go to sleep. Every night before you go to sleep, I want you to lay and do 8 minutes of deep breathing, from your abdomen to your diaphragm, in and out. We'll go through that too, because I know you know, some people have, you know, a little bit of ideas on how do you do deep breathing. Now, you can start with basically, I don't know, 30 seconds, because it might just hurt. You know, your muscles might be rigid. You might not be able to have, you know, the expansion of your rib cage. You know, so and it's also something that some people refuse it. So I'm going to go into deep breathing also. Okay, then we do stretching for 10 to 15 minutes a day. You can break it down, as you can also with the deep breathing. Do that different times during the day. If you're driving, you stop at a light, remember to deep breathe at the light. You know, all the deep breathing we can get is good, because we're creating an input of oxygen in our system, in our bloodstream, and we're also creating a more alkaline system. So therefore, please deep breathe. Going back to stretching, do that also different during the day. We'll get into stretching and also how do you do it and when you do it and all sorts of stuff like that, okay? Meditation. I make meditation videos on YouTube. I haven't made too many in English. They're basically in Italian. Well, 1 or 2 in English. But I'll be getting into that also. As this progresses, I'll create some wonderful meditation videos also in English. But anyway, there are thousands and millions of meditation videos in YouTube. So therefore, meditate. Let's get back down from a stressed out beta to a nice calm alpha, and we're helping our immune system and doing all sorts of wonderful things, which I will get into when we talk about meditation. So you can do that for 5 to 20 minutes, and 2 times a day for 10 minutes is wonderful. And we drink water. We drink 2 to 5 liters of water. Now, don't ask me about gallons. I know about liters, okay? So 2 to 5 liters of water, or 3. With fibromyalgia, we have a disease where our bodies are intoxicated. We're intoxicated. We have an excess of materials stocked up in our body, and we need to disintoxicate our bodies and clear out our lymphatic system. And it's fundamental to drink water. It's fundamental. Now, I know in other parts of the world, in Italy, with the big water and wine drinkers, they have to get off the wine and the alcohol and the beer and things like that. In America, I know that people are big soft drink drinkers and juices and other things like that. We need for a certain period of time just to drink water, You get yourself water and you keep your little water bottles all around you, and we have to drink water. We're disintoxicating a system that has a propensity to accumulate and does not eliminate. So we have to drink water. Okay. Now, when I was healing, I used to go to the sauna every day. I went to the sauna every day. I know I'm not asking everyone to go to the sauna every day. If you can go to the sauna, it is a big help, just because, as I just told you, we are trying to clear out our system of toxins. So it's very important that we help it along. So that's the sauna. The sauna has a miraculous property of creating a hormone which restores the strength in our bodies. I will get into that later on. Okay, we can oxygenate, we can detoxify, we can relax our brain and muscles, we can fight pathogens, the bacteria, candida, and bring the blood to the tissues, okay? And bringing blood to the tissues is fundamental to helping restore an equilibrium. So that's if you can do the sauna, it's good. If you can do the sauna. Now, supplements and vitamins. I took some supplements and vitamins. I will go into that in another session, but it's only supplements and vitamins is only if it's necessary. So therefore, take some blood tests and understand if you're vitamin B deficient, vitamin D, okay, deficient, which most people are, and many fibromyalgia patients are very, very deficient for many reasons. People don't go out in the sun, erratic eating habits, Stress consumes vitamin D in our body, so therefore there are lots of reasons why vitamin D is deficient in fibromyalgia patients. And it's very important that you know this. It's very important that you know if you are vitamin D deficient, and check that out with your doctor, and then get supplements. And if your doctor says everyone's vitamin D deficient, you go, okay, that's good for everybody, but I want to bridge the gap of being vitamin D deficient, so I need supplements. I can talk about that, what's the best supplement for that also later. But in the meantime, I would like you to also remember that medicine, pills, supplements, drops, everything when you are healing from fibromyalgia, if it's not totally necessary, it needs to be eliminated, because that is part of the intoxication problem in the body. We will never, ever be able to heal from fibromyalgia if the body is overly consuming even vitamins, or is taking an excess of medicines and painkillers and other medicines. Once we feel that we have power to control this disease has to be cured, and that's one of the, if not the big problem, it has to be cured through what people are willing to do for themselves in a natural way. It will never be cured through medicines, because it's exactly the antithesis of what the disease actually is. The body needs to be detoxed. The body needs the emotional state needs to be detoxed. The body needs to be detoxed. Everything needs to be, let's say, put in on the right track. And like I said before, this wellness, I call it real true wellness. Real true wellness is if you're eating right, and you're acting right, and you're thinking right. And what I mean in right is emotionally positively for you, where you're thinking with your best interest. You feel like you're strong and you can handle life, and there are no really basically problems, and you're not living in fear and you're not living in rage, then that's what living right and thinking right and feeling right means. You're not feeling inadequate. You're not feeling like a victim. This is what helps. This is what creating a detox in our bodies and restoring an equilibrium is. So let's get back to the regime. So take 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight. Now remember, don't go over to 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight, because too much sunlight creates an excess of free radicals. So we don't want that, okay? So 15 to 20 minutes creates exactly the amount of just the right proportion. We're doing this for the vitamin D intake, okay? So it creates exactly the right proportion of vitamin D intake for our bodies. And remember to get 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight a day. Now you could also organize it that you're doing your walk in maybe between the hours of 12 and 2, so you're getting the maximum amount of sunlight, and that's great too. Otherwise, you just go and sit on a bench and get some sunlight. Just get some sunlight, okay? You exfoliate your body, your skin, every, let's say, 3 days. You have to free those pores. You have to free those pores so that you can facilitate the detox program. The biggest detoxification is through our skin, and usually if we're not up on our exfoliation, we can hinder our body's most greatest detox system, which is our skin, to working at maximum capacity. So exfoliate. Do it in the shower. I'm going to go through that. We can do a dry brushing, we can do wet brushing, you can do whatever you want, but exfoliate, okay? So check your body right now for your pH, okay? You get those little pH strips from the pharmacy and check your body for pH, and we're going to try and bring that body from acid to alkaline, okay, to a good basic pH, and use meditation, guided meditations, relaxing music that you find in YouTube, so we can really always keep that brain from beta to alpha. I will explain to you also about what's going on in the brain and what are the problems and what we need to do to fix it. But I want to say that this program is not very hard when it becomes part of a wellness program. The problem is that life is fast. We're not used to stopping for us. We're not used to doing for us. And with fibromyalgia is the disease that makes you have to stop and take yourself by the hand and accompany yourself out of this disease. It's only us that can do it, and we can do it, and we will do it. My sister did it. I did it. I've got hundreds and hundreds of warriors here in Italy who have done it. And it was difficult for all of them. It was difficult for all of them. It wasn't difficult. It was really, really, really difficult. Really, I'm not going to lie to you. It was really, really difficult. This program is not difficult, but working for themselves was difficult. So therefore, what the brain probably does is, I've said this program is, oh, that's too much stuff. I don't have time for that. You know, we have to make time for ourselves, because fibromyalgia, I had 110 symptoms. 110 symptoms. You know, I have a list of 100 symptoms that I put on the internet. I had even more. Okay, horrible, horrible symptoms. The pain, the stress, the always thinking about it, the brain fog, the limitations. This program is completely doable, and you have to make time for yourself. With my sister, she was willing to make time for herself. She didn't know how to make time for herself, but she was willing to make time for herself. We all have to be willing to do what we can do to get out of this disease. But there's just so much to say about fibromyalgia. I mean, my program for fibromyalgia lasts at least a year. So don't feel overwhelmed about what I'm saying. This was a repass for my sister. It's an initiation for maybe someone else, but it is the way out of fibro. Going back to me, I've been out of fibro, like I said, since 2011, and I will never fall back into fibro, because as of today, what I did when I was getting out of fibro was I kept going, and I didn't stop, and I kept implementing my system until I had absolutely no pain, and then I kept going even further. Usually what happens is people stop. They stop working for themselves as soon as they get a little bit better, and that's why the disease just kind of like drags along, and then you get to a point where you're functional, but you're not non-reactive. And we have to create a non-reactive situation in our brains and in our bodies, okay? And a complete detox. The energy level has to always keep going higher and higher. It doesn't go high and then it decreases because you're feeling better. And as for me, I kept going on even after I felt well, and so now I have complete non-reactivity in my body. I eat carbohydrates. I do eat an occasional sweets. I drink other things. Food problems are absolutely no problem for me, because I eat whatever I want and I work to complete capacity, and I have no symptoms. Why? It's because I went the full length when I was healing, and I didn't stop. That's the most important thing, you know, and therefore my body now has normal reactions that any other body would have, any other person would have in their body. Obviously, my wellness program is a wellness program that I teach to people who have no disease, people who have no disease. Why? Because eating alkaline foods, eliminating processed foods, drinking water, drinking lots of water, doing a little bit of physical activity every day, deep breathing. These are things that everyone should do. Now, these are things that when you're totally healed from fibro, it's just like this sort of a wonderful dance, this wonderful healthy lifestyle dance you do with yourself. It's a gift you do yourself. It's not to heal. Basically, your life is based on wellness. It's just based on wellness. You're not smoking. Cigarettes are solanaceae, okay? They're nightshades, so that is going to, not only is it bad for your health, but it's also going to inflame you. So there are basically things that you don't do anymore, because you want to do a healthy lifestyle. You want to have a healthy lifestyle. And it has nothing to do anymore about staying out of fibro, because you've gone the length. Your brain is now non-reactive, and it's not processing input in the wrong way. So therefore, what you do afterwards is you just embrace a wonderful, healthy lifestyle. And why? Because you want to stay healthy. It's just because you want to stay healthy. So there are no limitations. I work from the morning to the night. I travel. I do whatever I want to do. And I really, if I'm out with people and I want to eat whatever I want to eat, I can eat whatever I want to drink. I can drink whatever I want to drink. Do I do it all the time? No, because that wouldn't be healthy. But it wouldn't be healthy for anyone, you know. So therefore, you come to a completely new realization of what is really healthy. You come to a realization of what's going on in your thought process. That's creating bad health. And we're going to get into that too. I'm going to stop for now because I don't want to give you too much information, because I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed or that it's not followable. It is, okay? This was Sister Talks, and I can't wait to see my sister when she comes over for the convention that I'm doing in November called Beating Fibromyalgia. I'll be back with another Sister Talks, and you please, 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 please forgive me for not having picked back immediately up on this series. But I've just been doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But I am back now to complete it. It's always just a question of getting back around to everything, I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but I am committed and I will be here, okay? I'm Evelyn Carr, life coach, healed of fibromyalgia. Everyone can do it, and I believe in you, okay? I really, really believe in you because I've seen it done, and I've seen it done so many times now that it is done. Don't ever let anyone tell you that fibromyalgia is not curable. It depends on what you're willing to do for you. It depends on what you're willing to do for you. Now, what I'm willing to do for you is I'm willing to help you with this series, okay? Bye.
You are perfection.
I am perfection.
Your life is important.
My life is important.
You are important.
I am important.
You are you, and you are proud to be you.
I am me, and I am proud to be me.
You love you.
I love me.
You are a unique individual.
I am a unique individual.
There is no one just like you on the face of this planet.
There is no one just like me on the face of this planet.
You are one of a kind. You are priceless.
I am one of a kind. I am priceless.
You make wise choices and decisions.
I make wise choices and decisions.
You take responsibility for your actions.
I take responsibility for my actions.
You learn from your mistakes and move on with grace and ease.
I learn from my mistakes and I move on with grace and ease.
You comfort yourself when you're down, and you cheer yourself on when times get a little rough.